Sheye, on Manchester United, because you drop one comment on the group chat. You said the Manchester United, the top four is still in our hands. So I want you to come in right now to explain what you mean by Manchester United club is still, I mean, is still in our hands. Consider the fact that look at the game. Our goalkeeper, the best goalkeeper in the world, with 15 clean sheets. What do you have to say, Sheye, onto this one? What is wrong with Manchester United?
Well, the reason I said they're still in their hands is because obviously they're currently in fourth. And also the fact that their game in hand is against Chelsea, and we all know that Chelsea against the so-called big sides this season, they've lost most of the matches. They are still yet to beat a team that is above them in the table. So that's why I feel that game is Man used to lose, and we all know how strong Man U are at Old Trafford. They tend to, I think their issues are away from home. They tend to pick up points at Old Trafford. But I feel in general, I said this on either here on the show or elsewhere that when Man U were winning games, when people said they were back. Although I know Kunde he had other ideas when people said Man U were back. I felt their games were largely down to individual brilliance and not what not necessarily what maybe you couldn't have said maybe they were well coached. I know Ten Hag has done a pretty decent job considering the fact that he just joined Man U in the summer last summer. But I feel in general during their
Mm,
really impressive spell, it was mostly Rashford banging in the goals and the hair at the time making huge saves. There were a few games where he was actually the one who bailed them out. I remember the game against Leicester City, I think in February, where he made a few saves. Leicester missed chances, and then at the other end, Rashford went forward and he was able to score a brace in that game, I believe. But I feel the it was not sustainable. You can't limit your winning runs to individual brilliance. You need the team to contribute in general. I don't think the other forwards contribute their quota of goals enough. I feel I'm not sure. I don't have the numbers here. I'm pretty maybe Kunle will be able to help with that. But I feel other forwards. We all know Val Vegas is not the goal scorer. He tends to add other things to the team, but he's not a goal scorer. Martial has had his issues with injury, although I know Ten Hag says the team plays better when Martial is in the team. Anthony, I feel, is really limited. I know he can score goals from nothing, maybe scoring from long range, but I feel in general he's a limited player. So you wonder, so where will the goals come from? Bruno Fernandes is someone who previously was someone who chipped in with the goals and assists, but I feel playing him in several positions has not helped.
mm, mm.
There are times when he plays on the right, at times he plays deeper, where he actually helps in terms of being able to play balls over the top for players running in behind. But I feel they need Bruno to play closer to goal because he's someone who I know that he can contribute his quota of goals and assists. So I just feel in general, um, they need more match winners, and this is actually something that is weird because under the Gunnar Solskjaer, Man U had several match winners. They had goals coming from several players, but currently, it's something that they seem not to have. And finally, I think the major issue with Man U is the fact that they struggle to control games. I've seen that in several games in recent weeks, particularly against Sevilla in the Europa League, where they could not control the game when they led 2-0, but they struggled to kill the match and make the game really boring. It was more or less end to end, despite having a 2-0 advantage. So I just feel the lack of control over matches, the lack of match winners has had a huge effect on Man U's tipping form.
Mm. All right, Kunle. Look at those questions about the what's the problem, which you're a Manchester United fan. If but I want to ask, is it the team fatigue, David De Gea longevity in question? You know, so many people have been saying they should. I mean, that they shouldn't award him any contract. They should bring in another goalkeeper. And also, is it the manager tactics lately? Using I mean, what's the name of that wig? In the not
Where
position
goes?
of workhorse in position number 10, and also the players' attitude. I mean, the forward misfiring. Look at those chances. We'll have buried the match in the couple of, I mean, 20 minutes. We'll have 2 or 3 goals. And also, is it because of the club sales dilemma at this position? I mean, what's your take on this questions I've put up on the?
Okay. So for me, Manchester United's problem is not down to one factor. It's multiple factors, and I think you've listed all of them. I believe fatigue has set in because, I mean, when you are on such a good run of form for a long time,
Mm,
especially when you are not even used to it, you know, judging by where they came from last season, it was always going to be difficult for them to keep that thing going. Shaya has already explained it very well, saying that look, there were elements of luck sometimes because they couldn't control games when they were leading. So it was going to get to that point where you would meet a very good team, and that run of, oh, you score first and you think you can run away with it despite not controlling the game, it will come back and haunt you. And I think that is what is showing here. So I think the Gear's longevity, I think that is fair. Me, I think David De Gea should have left the club from that
mm, mm.
moment when he wanted to go to, was it Real Madrid, and it didn't work. The truth is, he might have made as many saves and clean sheets and all, but ask what is his contribution to the overall, to the gameplay and all. It's not just about saves. Anybody can make saves. I mean, that's what the likes of Crystal Palace goalkeepers and those at the bottom end. That's what they do. But it shouldn't just be all about saves. There should be other things you are contributing into the team, and the gear doesn't seem to do that. I mean, even when it comes to even influencing the team as a captain, I don't think the gear is somebody who can control the back line. I don't think he can. So for me, I think his time is up, and we need to move on from him. We were even
Wow.
supposed to move on from him. Yeah, we were supposed to even move on from him with Dean Henderson after he impressed. He had was he not, was he Sheffield United or Nottingham
Sheffield
Forest?
to Nottingham Forest, but he got
No, 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 no.
got injury.
There was a club where he had two impressive loan spells. I'm trying to remember now.
Sheffield United, I think.
Sheffield United. Okay, so we thought,
Sheffield
okay,
and Nottingham Forest.
okay, Sheffield. No, it's Sheffield United. I remember now. Nottingham Forest was this season. He had impressive. Even when they came to the Premier League, he was instrumental in their survival. I remember. I think they finished ninth that season, and we gave the guy a long-term contract. And felt, oh, the guy is under pressure. But look, the guy is still there, so I think he needs to go. The only club sale, I think it is there because if the club is going in the right, is supposed to go in the right direction, you would
Mm,
expect that we have new owners that can back the manager with funds. Because I think personally, the Glazers do not have funds that they will give this man, to
mm.
buy the right spec of players and all of that.
Yeah.
So that could be it. Then player attitudes, you can't rule that out. United players have always had they've always had issues. They've always had attitude issues. It's well documented, so definitely it affects form. The only thing me I will not blame, and that's one thing I'm not going to blame Ten Hag for anything in this team. I know you would say you should give the manager some blame and all, but I would rather cut Ten Hag some slack because if he is having to, do his tactics one way or the other, like play Bruno on the wing, play Vegas as a 10 and all of
Mm,
that, I think it is clearly because he cannot implement, these players cannot implement his style of play. So he has to improvise. And we can't deny it that with all those improvisations he did, we were actually able to get results, and that is why United have been in the top four for so long. If not, maybe United would have been at the bottom end of the table. So it's actually as a result of the fact that the team isn't actually good enough. So he has to improvise on these things. If not, if the team was solid and players did the roles as they should and all, even if out Vegas, I'm sure we wouldn't even have gotten him. But as
mhm.
Sheye mentioned, he has to start offering other things apart from goal scoring, because you think, okay, you have a striker, but you find out that this guy drops deep so much. Even when he's up front, the ball hardly comes to him. They would
Hmm.
rather give the ball to Rashford or someone else, which for me is even a problem, because when people say United need a striker, me, my own question is, if we get a striker, is
Who is going
Rashford
to,
going to,
who is going
who's going
who's
to pass the ball to him? Is it Rashford? Is it
like
Anthony? Is it
never?
Fernandez? Is it Sancho?
They all want
Is
to
it
take the
Mane?
shot.
Everybody wants, exactly. Everybody wants to score. So I always laugh when we say, "Oh, we need striker." Who is going to give him the ball? Is Manchester United structured in such a way that it's centered around the player that you give the ball? Do we have the players that can give him the ball?
No one.
Those are question marks. So
All
I
right.
won't blame Ten Hag for anything, but it clearly shows that there is still a whole lot for
To
the
do.
man to do. A
All
whole
right.
lot.
Because of our time, I want to ask Pro.